Okay, well, good Monday afternoon, New York Jet fans and NFL fans. It is October 21st, 2024, 4:30 p.m., and you are watching The Takeoff. My name is Alex, and Week 7 of the NFL comes to a conclusion tonight with a doubleheader on Monday Night Football. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm really not into these games tonight. Of course, you want to be scoreboard watching. Baltimore playing, but really, at this point, it's more of, hey, what's going on, and where does last night's loss leave this team, not for this season, but also in the future. And I wasn't going to do another video today. I did one after the game last night. I kind of needed that to get that off my chest, but I didn't know what I was going to do today. So, I didn't have my Jet shirt on or whatever. So basically, here, if you take a look, the Takeoff is being brought to you by our new sponsor, Touch of Magic Entertainment. If you know, you know. But I got my hat on. I'm always representing. But basically, my outlook after last night was a very demoralizing loss. The worst loss, and I think I say that every weekend, the worst loss that we've suffered this year. And this is 4 in a row. And now you look at the program and the ingredients in this program and what was set there, and you don't know what happens next. I know I spoke last night about, we've had new ownership, and we had tons of coaches, and we had tons of quarterbacks, and it was funny. Last night we're watching the game, and my youngest daughter goes, "Oh, is Mike Tomlin still the coach on the Steelers?" And as soon as she says it, it pops up and it says 18 seasons as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I said, the Steelers are one of the oldest teams in the league. I think they've been in the league, and listen, I'll be lying, but probably over 60 years, maybe close to 75 years, I'm not sure. They have had 3 coaches in their history. Can you imagine? And all 3 coaches have gone to the Super Bowl. Just think about that number. The Jets have had 2 coaches this year. Okay? Since I've been following the team, I think I said we've had 15 different head coaches. It boggles my mind how other teams could get it and we can't. And that is, I think, the most disheartening thing next to the actual losses. I said this last night, and I've been going back and forth, getting some banter and some hate that, Woody Johnson needs to sell the team. First of all, somebody telling you, somebody telling, they need to sell the team is like somebody telling you need to buy a new car. I don't like your car, you need to buy a new car. I don't like the way you drive it. It's none of your business. He owns the team for good or for bad, for better or for worse, okay? Now, what Woody does impact how this team moves. But everything he does, for the most part, I believe, has not been bad moves. We've just had negative results from it. And I know that sounds maybe like double talk, but let's be honest. Last March, April, okay, or 2 years ago, when Woody Johnson and the team went after Aaron Rodgers, a vast majority of fans were like, this is it, we're all in. We were a quarterback away. We were somebody other than Zach Wilson away from taking this team to the next level. And, people got behind it. Now, you could say, in hindsight, terrible move. Well, you know what? You have a 40-year-old quarterback coming off injury. And I know that's not what wants to be heard, and we should not make any excuses. But that's exactly what it is. You have A Hall of Fame quarterback who, coming off an injury, a major injury, and he's showing his age. And the fact that his offensive line cannot block for him, or the running game cannot get it consistent, does not help. Now, Rodgers has a reputation, and I've said it in the past, his personal outlook on things I may not agree with. But you know what? I don't know if I agree with Derek Jeter's personal outlooks on things, but how many rings did he bring? But as a professional, I think he is tops right now on what we could get. Okay, there was no other quarterback available with his pedigree and his, stature, but it's not coming through. It's not paying forward. You could have the fastest racehorse in the world. You could have Seabiscuit, but if you don't have the right jockey, it's not gonna win you the race. You have the right trainer, it's not gonna win you the race. Now, I thought Rodgers alone would be able to engulf his team and set in a new culture. Okay, and the culture is everybody goes back to same old Jets. But it can't be the same old Jets when you have a different regime. Okay, it can't be the same old Jets when you have different play callers, different players, different drafts, different GMs. It's not the same old Jets. It's the same old results. And that's very concerning, and it's very aggravating. I mean, honestly. But to say that Woody Johnson only does this for the money, well, first of all, he bought the team, I forgot for how many billions of dollars 25 years ago. So yeah, he wants money back on his investment, okay? But I can't see Woody going out and saying, hey, marketing department, and George, you'll get this, marketing department, make me a new logo. I want to make more money. No, I don't see that, okay? He has one of the best TV markets, one of the best advertising markets due to the New York location, due to the brand of New York, okay? He, as an owner, wants to win. I truly, wholeheartedly believe that. You can't tell me that he wants to go in failing every season. I don't believe that. The decisions, the personnel are questionable. Now, like I said, mostly everybody was on board for Aaron Rodgers coming in. It's not working out the way we thought it would right now. Can it change? Oh, it definitely could change. Is it too late? It may be too late. I don't know if there's just going to be a switch where everything flips. But, again, you could always second guess the decision after you see the results. Hindsight is 20/20. Okay? Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner were defensive and offensive rookie players of the year. Obviously 2 seasons ago. Both of them have regressed in their own way. Now, yes, Sauce is not thrown upon a lot. He does make his plays, but he's getting those PIs. He is not the best tackler, but you know what? Neither was Revis. Okay? Garrett Wilson could take a slant 80 yards, could go up and grab a pass at the back corner of the end zone. Yesterday was probably the most atrocious wide receiver play I've ever seen by him. Now, you're talking about somebody who, if you remember the Denver game, fumbled on that first drive. Okay, and I know Lazard has had the reputation this year, but Wilson fumbled on that first drive there. Yesterday, the first interception, look, you want to blame Rodgers for trying to get it in there. I get it, but that's also part of Rodgers' stature to get the pass in there at that, in that way. The DB made an amazing one-handed behind him grab. But the second one, when he hits his receiver on the sidelines in the numbers, and the ball just pops up and goes back to that defender again, that's on Garrett Wilson. And it takes Devontae Adams to run the length of the field, 60-something yards to catch up to the guy who intercepted it. I mean, you can't make this up. But for all to fall on Aaron Rodgers, or for all to fall on Woody Johnson, is ridiculous. You know, I love Rex Ryan, and probably my most favorite coach. Before Rex Ryan was Bill Parcells, but I went into a Parcells thing last week on how I knew he just abandoned our team, and I knew what he did with Belichick and with Al Groh and whatnot. So Rex was always my favorite for a few reasons. I got to meet Rex a few times. My girls got to meet Rex a few times. Great guy. He's almost like a guy you want to hang out at a bar with and just, you know, chill and shoot the shit with. He brought a brand here. He brought confidence here. And I said this in my video over the weekend. I think I did it Saturday, where I said, you know, he didn't come here to kiss Belichick's rings. He didn't come here to lie down to Tom Brady. You know, he came here to win for the New York Jets. He was proud to be a New York Jets coach. I said it this afternoon to my cousins in the text, and to my buddy George. He was proud to be a New York Jets coach. When he was let go, he took over in Buffalo just to be employed. Okay, and that was Rex's ego. And Rex's ego got in his way more than his defense got into quarterback's ways. And that was Rex's downfall. You know, he thought every decision he made was the right decision, and that's the way you have to go into things, confident. But sometimes he didn't adjust to what was needed. He went into a rant today, and he basically went off on Aaron Rodgers, on how leadership, how it starts at the top, and that you have to build this culture, you know. And I remember when Rex came in, the new slogan, the new logo for the Jets was "Play like a Jet," and Mike Francesa went off on a tirade. Play like a Jet. They've only been losers. Play like a Jet. And I understand that the radio station has an agenda, and Francesa more than anybody. But the idea of play like a Jet was, don't listen to everybody who says same old Jets. Don't fall into that crap of we're always going to be the little brother to the Giants. Don't fall into that mind thought of if we play like a Jet, we're going to lose. Because for a few years it worked under Rex. And that's what play like a Jet means. And that's what he was trying to get. And he went off. He was screaming today. And I actually think he's advocating for a job for next year. I'm not sure if he would get it. But I do think he was advocating to let Woody know, hey, you know what? You don't have the leadership there. I can handle this team. Now, he did, as he was talking about bringing in this player, and he never mentioned anybody. You know, he said the name on the back of the jersey means nothing. It's a name on the front of the jersey. He did go out and say that the kid, you know, Ehrlich, he called him a kid because I guess compared to his age, he's a kid, is probably in over his head because he is a first-time head coach who's also calling the defense. Now, I remember Rex did that for a few years. We didn't have that, you know, much success after 2011. You know, to 11 we just missed the playoffs, and then it was downhill after that. But he's recognizing what's going on here. The one thing I will say that you know was pointed out by my cousin Mike is the thing with, he said something like my this or my that, and Rex was very into it was his defense. Okay, it was his father's defensive philosophy. His defense was gonna, you know, have the highest percentage, you know, of wins. His defense is gonna cause the most sacks. It was his. I get that. He wanted to put a label on it, but the team played for him. This team right now has no identity. You have Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback. You have a no-name interim head coach, and nothing against the interim head coach, but it's, you know, it's not like you brought up Steve Spagnuolo as a coordinator to be a head coach. You have Woody Johnson basically doing the GM work now. Have not heard from Joe Douglas in weeks. In weeks. And you have now Davante Adams in here. Okay, and Hassan Reddick was going to stop playing. Okay, and you still don't know what this team could do. They showed us what they couldn't do. Okay, they couldn't hold a 15-6 lead. They couldn't get the ball down the field when they needed to. And this has been going on for some time. I know it does not seem bright. And I remember under Herm, okay, we were, get it, 2-5. Herm made the switch to Chad Pennington. It was 2002, okay. You play to win the game speech came out, and things slowly started to change. And very quietly, the Jets started making up ground. And beating Buffalo, and beating New England, and beating Miami. December 26th, last game of the season, the Jets have, and I'll never forget this, in the parking lot, it's me, Buddy George, my nephew James, and George's brother Anthony. We're tailgating and we're watching the early games. We have a 4 o'clock game against the Packers and Brett Favre. And I want to say, if Cleveland loses, the Jets automatically step in as the wild card. If Cleveland wins, okay, the Jets need Miami to lose, and they're playing the Patriots, and the Patriots are not that good this year, okay? And the Jets have to beat Brett Favre and the Packers. And the day before, the Giants had beaten the Eagles to clinch a playoff spot. And we're sitting in the parking lot, we're watching the game, and now Cleveland goes on and wins. And the Miami-New England game, Miami's ahead. And you're like, so we're going to basically finish off what we're cooking. We're going to stroll into the game. We'll watch Brett Favre play. And all of a sudden, New England starts to come back. And we have the TV on, and we're waiting, and we're watching. And Vinatieri lines up and hits a field goal to win the game as time expires. And with that, there's probably, in Giant Stadium, the old Meadowlands Stadium, probably about 50,000 people, 40,000 people in the stadium. Here comes another 25,000 going into the stadium, basically locking up their cars. I'm honking my horn. We're going up and down to go in and watch now a team that can win the AFC East. And that's exactly what happened. They destroyed the Packers, and the Jets won the AFC East, and they hosted their first playoff game since '98, the following week against the Colts. So listen, 2-5, yeah, we are showing no life. Okay? It's 2 steps forward, 4 steps back right now. And it's rough. Because you could look back at these games and say, if we would have won that game, if Zerline would hit this kick, and Zerline gets another kick blocked, just everything. When the team was not playing well, or didn't have any chance last year, there was plays to be made. You had, the Jets beating Buffalo Monday night. You had Zerline hitting from deep to win games. You had all of this, and now this year, where kicks are the difference between 2 wins and turnovers and whatnot, it's not falling our way. So yeah, I'm concerned, and I'll go into it further with the repercussions of yesterday's game and the rest of the season and the seasons to come. I doubt very much, unless Ulbrich gets him into the playoffs, that he comes back next year. And that means on any capacity, because maybe he doesn't want to be the defensive coordinator anymore. He wants to be a head coach somewhere. Maybe him and Woody don't see eye to eye, and this is his way out. He was very close with Robert Saleh. Okay? So that's number one. So he doesn't come back, which means the rest of his coaching staff probably does not come back. Because usually when the head coach goes, everybody goes. But we're going to take it from a historical point of view. You know, head coach is going to go, the whole team's going to go. That means Hackett probably goes. Okay, you had 2 seasons with Hackett. If they don't make the playoffs, 2 seasons that he didn't make the playoffs. 1 season that he had Rodgers. And that he also got demoted as being Rodgers' offensive coordinator and play caller. See? So now, does Rodgers come back? So now people at this point could be saying, well, who wants him back? He looks washed up now. Is he washed up because of the team around him? Is he washed up because he's washed up himself? Or is he washed up because of the play calling? I mean, you know, you could look at and blame anything. And people have been saying Rodgers is doing the blame game. And I think he's just holding people accountable. Yesterday he said something, and I know I'm going off on a tangent, but he basically answered a question. And Rich Cimini totally took it out of context. And he was asked, you know, something about getting the team on the same page and how do you get them to be motivated and believe they can go out and win. And he said, first thing is not listen to what you guys write or listen to you guys. And Cimini immediately today, Aaron Rodgers is saying that the media is the reason why the Jets aren't motivated. That is not what he's saying. He is saying, don't read the papers. If you read the papers, don't go on Twitter. Don't go on social media and read what they're saying about you. Okay? That does not matter. Just believe what you want about yourselves and with how we believe in ourselves and take it from there. So, you know, I love the way Cimini kind of turned things around, that it was, you know, the media's fault, and that's what Rodgers was saying. That's not what he was saying. You know, but right now, Rodgers is public enemy number one, probably with the media. And Cimini will look at any angle, and I've never been a fan of Rich Cimini, but what are you going to do? Secondly, okay, so now you don't have Rodgers coming back, you don't have your coaching staff coming back. Who do you hire as your coach? Now, the last offensive-minded coach, okay, was prior to Bill Parcells. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, okay? I think Bruce Coslett was the last offensive coach to be the head coach of the Jets, because Pete Carroll was a defensive coach. Rich Kotite, I don't remember. But you know how that turned out. Okay? Bill Parcells, defensive coach. Okay? Al Groh, I believe a defensive coach. Herm Edwards, defensive coach. Eric Mangini, defensive coach. Okay? Rex Ryan, defensive coach. See the pattern here? So, who do you hire? You know, I saw somebody say Mike Vrabel. You know, okay, Vrabel was all right in Tennessee. You know, maybe on his second stint as a head coach it works. I don't know. So your first thought is, do you get rid of the GM? Okay. And then who do you bring in as a GM? And what is his philosophy? And then who's your head coach? And then does Rodgers stay? Do you want Rodgers to stay? You know, I remember when they hired Rex, Favre did not yet retire. And then he kind of did, he didn't want to play, and the Jets were going to work out something to send him to Minnesota and whatnot. And Rex never even acknowledged Favre because he knew he wasn't going to play for him. And I admired that because he gave all the kudos to Sanchez. I mean, the guy got a friggin' tattoo of Sanchez. You know, his wife wearing a Sanchez jersey. I mean, so come on. So you knew his loyalty there. So, you know, who do you hire? Who do you bring in? I don't get what they're going to do. And all of this could be ramifications from yesterday's game. You're not going to get rid of Ulbrich during the season. Okay? Coaching changes right now. Anything less than anybody retiring, Hackett walking out, anything like that, there's not going to be any more coaching changes from Woody Johnson or Joe Douglas. But right now, the writing's on the wall. If they don't make the playoffs, from the GM down could be gone. Then we start all over. Who do we bring in? Is Tyrod Taylor the journeyman who has gone to, I don't know how many teams, going to be our starting quarterback next year, and we draft another quarterback. You know, it just, a win yesterday would have kind of silenced everything, because you could have went into New England now with a win and a game behind you, and you know, work off of that. And here comes my dog again. It's like every time I do a video, my dog comes out. You pet my dog. Okay, there she is.
Thank you.
Okay, I gotta walk the dog. I think my wife timed that. So, you know, that yesterday's loss, the way we lost, have huge ramifications. Not for the rest of the season, because, you know, we have to go on a tear. The team has to win 8 out of the last 10 to end off at 10-7 and hope for a wild card. Because 10 wins right now, the Bills are halfway there. Okay, so, you know, wild card is where it's going to be at if we make it. I think if we do make the wild card, Ulbrich gets his job at least offered to him. But other than that, I can't see anything less than at least a whole new coaching staff and GM for next year. And then, you know, we see what Rodgers does. And again, if Rodgers was out there lighting it up, then I'd say, all right, you know, let's get him back here. Like with Brett Favre, you know, remember we beat the Tennessee Titans. We had this, you know, big, you know, we went into New England and won in New England, and that's why he was brought in there. And then he got hurt, and it all went downhill. With Rodgers, it's going downhill very early, and it's not all him, but he was the tremendous acquisition that we signed. You know, he was why we were on Hard Knocks last year. He was why, you know, we had, 6 standalone games last year, and I think 5 this year. And the only difference between last year and this year is we don't have the Black Friday game. So, you know, it's just very mind-boggling. Sorry. It's very frustrating. And I said last night, I'm tired, and I'm still a little tired. And I don't know what happens next. But anyway, this is the takeoff. I'm probably not going to do another video till later on in the week unless something major happens. And the way the Jets have been in the news the last few weeks, it's not out of the realm of possibility. You know, I won't report on Hassan Reddick. Basically, he signed. He's on the team. He had to go through a physical today. But other than that, you know, the only other major shakeup I could see is somebody leaving the team. You know, or Mike Williams getting traded. But I don't know. I just, you know, this team, which I love dearly, and I love going to the games with my daughters and watching and discussing, has me at such a crazy state right now that I don't know. You know, I can't even figure out what they're going to do next. But anyway, have a great rest of your week. Have a blessed week, a blessed week. Whatever you call it. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And of course, follow us. We are The Takeoff. We're on YouTube. The Takeoff is the name of the account. At The Jets Takeoff is the channel. On Twitter, at The Jets Takeoff is our Twitter handle. And of course, you can email us. thejets_takeoff@gmail.com. And again, brought to you by Touch of Magic Entertainment for all your DJ, MC, and photo booth needs. If you know, you know.